Greetings, dear ones. Welcome home. Greetings from home. You have been watched. You have been seen. Your own path is starting to change in new ways, and it's getting very beautiful on earth. We know that is not your perception. We can see very clearly there is so much turmoil. There's so much redesigning. There's so much redefining of who you are that many times if you look at your news, you look at the advancements around you, what you will see is disturbing because it looks like arguments, people taking to the streets. It's happening in Turkey. It's happening all over the place. It's happening in Syria. It's happening in Egypt. It's happening in Venezuela. It's happening in so many places right now. Why? What is so different about this time than even just a few years ago? Even 2 or 3 years ago, you would never see demonstrations like this happening in multiple countries at the same time. All of humanity has shifted, dear ones. All of humanity has risen to a new perception. And part of the challenge is you cannot hold secrets from each other any longer. Isn't that interesting? Quite beautiful from our perspective. You're living in the times of transparency, in the times of no more secrets, of which we have been speaking for quite some time. You didn't actually think it was going to happen, and here it is. So what happens when you discover secrets? Well, the first thing you do is overreact. You get angry because it was held a secret from you. Someone made you build your life on a partial lie. And you feel angry about it and frustrated about it. Well, you're also going to need to learn to forgive each other. Because all of you have been lying. All of you have hidden little secrets in there that are going to start to come out. In the new times of transparency, things are different. So the first thing we ask you all to do is to be kind to each other. To nurture one another at every opportunity. That takes forgiveness. So this is the one piece that we ask you to walk into your new world with, because you are in a new world. And it looks very unfamiliar compared to your old one. Things happen at the speed of love here. They do not happen with a time lag. They happen very quickly, and furthermore, the most important part is that you have a collective consciousness, which is right on the edge of frustration. That is the reason so many people are speaking their minds and deciding that they have so much to say that they must take to the streets, that they must rebel in some way in order to make their voice heard. And it's really quite beautiful, because what you are doing is creating the new world. You're creating the age of empowerment just exactly the way that each of you need it. And what you are rebelling against is the ways that these things have been set up for you in the past. You have had world leaders who have been determined to lead you, and that is not needed anymore. You are conscious creators, walking and creating on this planet. And what your leaders need to be doing is making that safe for you. Very simple. These are servants, not leaders. So what's taking place on planet Earth is that many of you are pushing aside your leaders. Isn't that what most of these things taking to the street are all about? That they are not leading you in the direction that you wish to go. Now, where is it going? Well, for the time being, dear ones, it's going to get worse. And there's no secret of that. But what will eventually happen is that the collective consciousness of humanity will bond. Now, it's difficult right now. There are many of you who are trying to go separate of each other. The separation on planet Earth will stop your advancements. Very simply, you're in the age of harmony. You've started the third wave of empowerment, which is all about each other. So therefore, everything that separates will be problematic for the future of humanity. And everything that comes together and talks about harmony is the future of where you are all going. And you are the ones that set this, not us. You are the ones that stepped into this age of empowerment saying, I am a conscious creator. I do remember all the magic in me from when I was a child. You did not forget it all. And you have it available to you at any moment. That is very beautiful. And that is what we are seeing you move toward. This next level of energy is here for all of you. But you've also have some help. And you're not familiar with that, and that is what we wish to speak of today. Well, you see, this is not new to you. You have known about this. You've been talking about the age of empowerment. You've been talking about the new age. You've been talking about stepping into your freedom and being able to create at a moment's notice, just like you do when you are home. Well, this is very beautiful because you're basically creating heaven or home on earth. And that also means that you need to take a level of responsibility for those powers, because that's really what is going to anchor it for you. But you also knew this was coming. You saw it. You studied it. Many of you have prophesied it even in your own work, talking about the major changes to all of humanity that are taking place. Yes, at one point, you took the end of the world, basically the end of the game, and you decided to extend it. You basically said, we are not leaving. We're not done here. But we tell you the planet was on an ending cycle. And the planet does not change as quick as the collective consciousness of humanity. So the planet is still having great difficulties. And many challenges are starting to boil up. Many of what you see as discord when you turn on your television, or you see people out in the streets that are demonstrating. You may not even know what they're demonstrating about, but you can see the frustration, the anger, all the rest of it in their eyes. And you empathize with it because you know what that feels like. But much of that is being triggered by the difficulties in the earth right now. Now, I'll tell you this from all perspectives. You are aware of what is taking place with the earth. She is going through a major rebirth. Another cycle. You originally were not going to be here for this. Now you have extended the game and stepped forward in it. You get to participate. It's very beautiful. Yet it's challenging because the earth was shutting down. Many of the species on planet Earth have been dying off for a long time. Yes, she has recently been reseeded. And that receding will continue. You will see more meteors, comets, and so forth come in. There will be a couple later this year that might scare you. Just breathe. Oh, that is for us. No one calls this phone. But there it is. Magic on this day. So we will simply say, here, let us answer. It's from the group. We will answer. Oh, well, we'll do it another time. So why are we here? What is this about? And what is the beautiful part that we saw coming? Because all of you and all of us saw what was taking place and provided an opportunity for this next level and this next piece. How did you participate in this? Where are the answers that you left for yourself? Well, it's about 20 years ago, almost 22 years ago, that the first crystal children were born on this planet. Now, do you understand where this is going? Can you see what is taking place with the crystal children? They have come in with an incredible sensitivity, many of which cannot be outward. Many children cannot participate with other people because of their incredible sensitivities. But it's more than that. You've seen a huge increase in what you call the spectrum disorder on your planet. Dear ones, these are crystal children that are having challenges associating with all of you. It's very simple. You brought in very high vibrational children on a very low vibrational planet. And with them not being able to ground, many of them have gone inward and created what you see rising on your planet at an alarming rate. Autism and the entire spectrum disorder is on the rise on planet Earth. And it's not bad. That's the part we want to tell you. Because you saw the changes coming. You saw what was going to take place, so you planted your hope in the crystal children. And you made space for them to come in, even though you are experiencing incredible difficulties, many times with their sensitivities or the other attributes that they have to deal with. But they also hold the answer. And that is something that you will start to see in the very near future. What will happen? Will you see people coming up in front of the television cameras and explaining everything so everybody goes home and feels comfortable? No, that is not the way of the crystal children. The way of the crystal children is to plant the seeds very deeply in your hearts and then nurture them, because they do that and they're good at it. They know how to work with it. Now, we've been calling them crystal children for the very simple reason that they were all children when we were talking about them. But that was 20 years ago. Today, these are young adults, teenagers, some in their pre-teenage areas. But they hold the key. Now, are they aware of it? No, not on an individual basis. Most of them are not. But they have a connection, dear ones, which is very magical. And when that connection happens, which is starting to already, it is being triggered by the emotional release of planet Earth. She is going through much. You see daily that Greenland is melting. You see daily, you talk about daily now, how the water will be rising on planet Earth. It is no longer conjecture, dear ones. It is there for you to see. These are major shifts on planet Earth. You are also building up the tension of the tectonic plates. They had a minor slip the other day in the area that you call Los Angeles, but it was minor. There's major tension building here. Now, does that necessarily mean it must be an earthquake? It must be a volcano? No. We will see how much work the crystal children can do, because that is where one part of what is taking place. There is a collective consciousness on levels, and the crystal children have come in with an ability to connect to themselves in a way that most cannot. The indigos also have a part of this, where they have a level of communication that they have been working with in order to clear the way for the misunderstandings that they brought to Earth. It was wonderful because they broke apart all the systems and then helped to put them back together in the new way, to make space even for the children of crystal vibration that were yet to come. Now, what are the crystal children? The crystal children feel energy in a way that most of you strive to. Most of you go to classes so that you can feel the energy. The keeper's a man. He believed himself to be a high vibrational teacher, and at some point somebody brought him a rock and put it in his hand, said, "Can you feel that beautiful vibration?" And he said, "No, it feels like a rock." So not everybody feels things in the way you think you do. So you go to classes to be able to feel the energy, you call it. Well, feel that. Feel the excitement, dear ones. What has happened is you are tapped into the energy of Earth. And as she experiences these challenges, which are perfectly normal, perfect part of her process and growth, as she experiences them, all of you connect your emotional systems to Earth at this time. She is going through such change. The collective vibration of humanity changed when it hit a critical mass. You stepped into the age of empowerment. You moved through the portal of the 12-12-12 all the way through the 21st. And at a time when planet Earth would be ending, here you stand with smiles on your face, waiting for the next part. That is so beautiful. We, on this side of the veil, were cheering you on like you would never believe. There were so many entities here working to send beautiful energy to Earth. We hope you felt it, because that is now up to you. The Earth is yours. You will harmonize with her, or you will let her die. But we will tell you she's on a dying cycle still. And there is much necessary need to work with her in new harmonies. Now the crystal children will also come up, not only to work with the Earth, but to work with you. For it is really humans that have found these difficulties so challenging. The earth has gone through many of these evolutionary periods before. She has no problem with it. She will go through it. It will work. She will come out the other side. She knows the many cycles she has gone through, and it does not concern her. It is the humans that concern her. It is your journey in this very difficult time of transitions, in this time of rubbing energies, of difficulties, of not understanding and not being able to see. But here's the beautiful part. The crystal children are not separate from you. They are part of you. And although they have found a harmonic on which to communicate that you do not know, all of you can start tapping into that energy in the very near future. You will start crystallizing your own experience on earth and start reaching a vibrational level where you cannot tolerate the negativity. That is why you see all the discord on planet Earth right now. You're seeing from the higher vibration, but your daily life does not validate that for you. It does not show you that you've actually moved into it. And yet you feel it in your heart, and because you open your eyes and you cannot see it around you, you get very frustrated. But it's not just you, it's all of humanity. Now here is the beautiful part. The collective consciousness of humanity is reaching a critical level. You are demanding peace on earth. That is not your current experience. You can turn on your television and see everything but peace at this moment. But these are transitionary times. This is exactly what you are moving toward. These are the parts where you must start your power cycle. And your power cycle starts by saying no. In other words, in the beginning of a power cycle, whether you are an individual, a collective, or all of humanity, all of what happens is in the beginning of the power cycle, you say no. You define yourself by what you don't want in your life. And you say, this has been here all the time. I'm a new person. I need something new, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be a connection or friends, whatever it is. And you can see this in your life because most humans go through power cycles every 7 years. Or if there's other triggers, that contracts and so forth that you have worked with. So if you look back on your life, you can very clearly see that you've gone through these power cycles and they started by saying, no, this is something I no longer want in my life. That is what all of humanity is doing right now. All of humanity is saying, no, we've stopped needing you to do this. Now, it's difficult because the people you are saying no to are not listening. They will. That is true. They absolutely will. And that is the change that is taking place on earth right now. But the beautiful part is to keep in mind the power cycle. What does that mean? Well, it's pretty simple to see. What happens is you start by saying, no, I no longer want this in my life. This is who I am in this moment. And then you get to that point where you no longer need to push things away. And you say, oh, okay, I'm at the top of my power cycle. And you feel comfortable with it. No longer the need to push things out of your life. But then comes the rest of it, where you reach this point where you start defining yourself by what you do want in your life instead of what you don't want in your life. It's not possible to start with that yes answer. It's necessary to start with a no. All of humanity has started a brand new power cycle right now. And we do not believe it will take you 7 years to go through it. We believe that it's going to happen very quickly. But that is up to you and the crystal children. For it is the children of crystal vibration that have started this cycle. They are awakening from the dream in ways that you did not expect. They are taking places in your world in ways you did not expect. You expected them to ride in on white horses and save the day. But they have been planting the seeds of truth very clearly, sometimes through their own discord, sometimes through their own physical challenges, if nothing else. But they have done it. And the network of crystal vibration is now in place. It took them over 20 years to do it. Now, please understand, dear ones, there have been crystal children on your planet for quite some time. Most of the time, they have been feared. Christ was one. You'll see this over and over again. Buddha was one. You'll see it over and over and over again, that many of the people that you have received your messages of light from have been very, very sensitive and very, very powerful. Those are the two attributes of crystal. An incredible sensitivity, and because of that sensitivity, an incredible power. Now, does that fit on planet Earth? No, not in the old Earth, which is why the changes are taking place right now. Now, what can you all do that do not consider yourself of crystal vibration? You have been doing it, dear ones. You've been raising your vibration consciously. You've been taking courses, you've been praying, you've been listening to yourself, you've been meditating, you've been talking to your own spirit and channeling yourself. That is what it takes. And those are the pieces that the crystal children came in with. Now, there was a time not too long ago where the keeper was teaching a channeling class. And he had a crystal child in there. And he brought them to the front and said, well, let's try this and see. And then that person went, I know. And he said another piece of truth. You know, when you channel, you can do this. And the person said, I know. And he said something else about it, which he was really saying for the class out here, not to the person. And the person said, I know. And that is exactly what it looks like. These are not beings that are going to hold up a sign and say, I have the answers for planet Earth. These are beings who have hidden very well to not disturb the natural evolution of humanity and not push it too fast, for it would have lost many of you had they done that. It's not about the crystal children. It's about all of humanity. It's about the collective vibration, which is now starting to rise to a level where you can harmonize with crystal. And that will not only help them, will it reduce the number of advances that you are having in the area of autism. Well, dear ones, autism is only one area of physical challenge that many of the crystal children see, but it is increasing. And what will happen is the rest of you will start to understand really what this is. If you are able to engage the attributes of these children, you will find incredible gifts hiding deep under what seem to be handicaps. They are not, dear ones. Understanding is the new key element here on earth. Understanding and looking to reach that. And the biggest challenge about that is reaction. For when one person makes a move of any kind, there is a reaction of that move. If you just stop for a moment, instead of react, act. Stop the reactions on planet Earth long enough to see what is taking place. And you'll change one heart at a time. Now, does that mean that if everybody in this room suddenly reaches a collective vibration of crystal, that all the problems in Turkey, all the problems in China, all the problems in Venezuela, all the problems in Syria, all the problems in Egypt, and all the problems in the Ukraine will go away suddenly? No, but you will anchor the possibility to form that peace, to start that. Absolutely. And if that is your intent, that will work. But it is a time to focus deep within and not without. It's not about looking at something. Because if you turn on the television set and you see something happening in another country, there's an arm's length. There is no arm's length. That is you. And even if it's not happening in your country right outside of your door, it's happening to the collective consciousness of humanity. So this is truly the times on planet Earth when humans will learn to live in harmony by the way that they are similar instead of finding the ways that they are separate. The separation And the normal patterns of separation that have existed on planet Earth are the greatest detractors to the evolution of humankind at this moment. And we also tell you, dear ones, that you have amassed not only the collective vibrations of the crystal, and we will not call them children all the time, but most of them are not. Most of them are stepping into adulthood or young adulthood. Oh, you think you had difficulties in your preteen years. You should see with them the challenges that these crystal children have to go through to make the rest of the world understand them. Very challenging. And yet, it is starting to happen. It is working. There are many that are doing studies and research and teaching the rest of planet Earth what to look for here and what to expect. And that will become more valuable as time goes forward. You are seeing the new humans on Earth right now. They will not stand up. They will not say, elect me because I will run your government well. They will usually stand behind the scenes. But that is as it should be, dear ones. You are passing the time for a need for leaders. You can work in a collective harmony in a new way. Now, there's one other important thing that has taken place that we wish to share with you. Although we have spoken it before, it's incredibly important right now. And that's that if you did not come in as a crystal child, many of you have been here holding information in previous lifetimes where you could not put it out. Some of you have been, yes, burned at the stake. Some of you have been tortured. Some of you have physical attributes that keep you from stepping forward. Some of you have all these thoughts about what that is about. But dear ones, it's a new time. It's a new energy. And at these critical times of mass evolution on planet Earth, this is not the first major step that you have made as a collective. At these critical times, you had a special team that would come into Earth from home to plant the seeds that were necessary for the empowerment to actually take. And that team has grown substantially. It is actually a fairly large percentage of the beings currently incarnated on planet Earth. These are the people of E vibration. This is the family of E. So let us explain what that is about. Now, right away when we say that, and we use that term, you all want to know what the E means. Well, it means a lot, but if you want to put it into one language only, we will simply call it empowerment. But it is much more than that. E happens to be the most common sound that humans make. It is the most common letter in the English language, and similarly in other languages. Why? So you would remember why you are here. You have stepped forward to bring human empowerment. Many times it is called human rights. We have spoken of this before because the first time the incarnation happened in mass, that you are fully aware of, that you can mark on your calendars when it happened, was almost 800 years ago at the signing of the Magna Carta. You created an awareness of human consciousness, and that started a whole cycle of empowerment on Earth, which anchored the new energies and allowed you to move into that new empowerment and use it in your fullness. Use it in your completeness. Very beautiful. You have returned many times to planet Earth. The family of E has incarnated at critical times. Another time was the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. There have been many times and many champions. Jimmy Carter was one of them, a peanut farmer, who coined the words human rights. One of the first people to talk about it. How do you help planet Earth? You help everybody be equal. That is very simple. You are putting together that which was separated so that you could play this game of pretending to be separate. That is the nature of where humanity is at this moment. Those of you who start your names with E, Many of you who start your names with Y or the E sound have done so intentionally so that you would remember who you are and what your purpose was. You may not have known it. You may not have always liked that feeling, but there it is, a very clear identifier. Does that mean that if you do not have E in your name, that you are not of the family of E? No, that means your parents may not have listened to what you wanted and named you something else generally. So it's up to you. But there are many beings on planet Earth right now that have come here for this specific purpose, and many of you call yourself light workers. We are so proud of you. If you ever get to see home before you come home, you will see why it moves our hearts so much to see what you've already done. This was to be a time of great turmoil. This originally was set for the time of Armageddon. Actually, it would have been ended by now. But there was so much set up for all these changes to happen. You've already moved all that. And what you are seeing as all this discord on planet Earth is only the remnants that you were not able to clear. So give yourselves a little hand, dear ones. You did one heck of a job. You've already opened the door for the age of empowerment. And although it looks very difficult in very tumultuous times, very changing, very challenging, you have no idea what it could have been and what was originally set on your path. You are the greatest angels that have ever lived. And you are doing incredible work. Know that there are many beings that stepped aside so that you could play this game of pretending to be human. You see, in this times, only the very best was sent to earth. Now, who determined who was the best? All of you did, and all of those that stayed behind. But all of those that stayed behind are now cheering you on. They're trying to help you open doors. They're working with you. They're channeling through you. They're bringing messages to earth which you can now hear. Congratulations, dear ones. In a time of turmoil, we ask you to celebrate. Celebrate your light. Celebrate who you are. Celebrate the part of the collective which has your name on it. That part which you came in to shine your light through and bring your light to earth. You have been successful. Now you have opportunities in front of you. The judgments of the old times will block you, very simply. The separation of any kind, whether it be in major collectives, governments, individuals, and so forth, is the negative energy which has kept you in the lower vibrations. If you are able to release it in the collective consciousness, you will move that much faster into the new times and anchor yourself in this beautiful new world which you have built. And we are cheering you on, for you are our heroes. You are the ones that are doing our dreams. We have never been to earth, none of us, with the exception of the keeper. But we tell you, we have spent much energy watching each of you, not only individually, but collectively, to be in this position where this miracle could happen. It is underway. Congratulations, dear ones. Welcome home. It is with the greatest of honor that we ask you to treat each other with respect. Nurture one another every chance you get. Play well together. Espavo.
How beautiful to hear from the group as in that way instead of through individual parts of the group.
Gilbert was very frustrated.
I'm sure. Yeah. How did you get him to be quiet?
That's what we were doing while you were doing your meditation over here.